Welcome. My name is Lauren Bailey. My friends call me LB. You found the Factor 8 monthly sales shots served straight from the sales bar. And this month we're talking about building 24 pipe. If you're making outbound calls, cold, warm, warmish, even hot, sometimes we get the brush off, and that's what we're talking about today. So there's a lot of tips you're going to find in here and a lot of ROI. If we can beat the brush off, it has the power to increase our average talk time 20, 30, even 40%. Now, that could mean one or two more conversations a day for us outbound dialers. And that's like having an extra sales day in the week, isn't it? Could be up to 7 more conversations in a week that you get to have. So it's a teeny tiny skill that makes a great big difference. So if you're just joining us, open up your chat so we can have a little fun today, and please share your city and your favorite holiday beverage. As you do that, I'm going to introduce our newcomers to Factor 8. This is my company. I started 15 years ago. These are a couple of the clients we've had the pleasure to work with. My mission is to help reps and managers in revenue love coming to work. And I feel like if we can get wins sooner, if we can feel successful instead of frustrated while we're making sales calls, then we like coming to work. And that's the goal, right? If we all love coming to work every day, the world's a better place. So my firm Factor 8 specializes in building phone sales confidence and skills. Our second area of specialty is that transition from rep to manager. I think that's a really tough shift. I struggled with it way back when. And that's the foundation of my second company called Girls Club. And I'll tell you about that at the end. Special welcome to these folks, our sales shot leaderboards. If you'd like to be a bar regular as well, my bar flies, hit factor8.com/shots. That may be where you found us already, but we do this every single month. We speak to SDRs, AEs, account managers, sales managers, and enablement leaders. You can sign up for all of these right now. And this is a great time to thank our sponsor for today, Unifor. They've got our super cool tool called Q. Remember James Bond, who had all the cool gadgets? Q sits in my video meetings and tells me real time if my folks are engaged, if they're engaged up, engaged down, or if their sentiment is high or low. It's like an EQ meter, and I'm loving it. So, all right, I want to share with you that our sales shots are quick, tip-rich, 30 minutes. I'm going to be done talking in 27 minutes. But my enablement peeps, I want you to know, I see you, right? You all need to know that in all seriousness, what we're doing today and every month is a webinar. It's a presentation. It's kind of one way. That means it's not training, nor are all the videos that you watch. Studies show that in one day, you're going to forget 50% of what I said. In a week, you're going to forget 90% of what I say today. So the sessions like these are designed to get buy-in on the idea, like, oh, this is cool. I should try this new skill. But if you want to get serious about really trying and applying the skill, you got to go take the online training. You got to do the activities and practice it for a couple of weeks. Even better, get your peer or your manager to coach you on this, okay? It's brain science. It's all about how we recall and apply to build muscle memory in sales, all right? So if you like this, get the training and commit to trying it for 2 weeks. That's where we see results happen, all right? I know, who starts the webinar by saying, gee, don't listen to anything I say. Listen and then do even more. So here we go, everybody. Sales shot number 1. Brush-offs are not objections. Objections happen late in the sales cycle where you've done your pitch and they're challenging you with something. They've got a question. Often it's price. So let's warm up the chat fingers. When do brush-offs happen? If objections are late in the sales cycle, when do brush-offs happen? I'm loving all the drinks. I'm scrolling up while I'm waiting for you to type in chocolate chip cookies. It's not a drink, Jackie, but I feel you. This is great. Bloody Marys are good any time of the year. I'm loving hot apple cider, eggnog. You're hardcore. Andrew, champagne, again, any time of year. Anybody can guess? When do brush offs happen? They're early in the sales cycle, folks. Okay. They're not objections. It happens at a different time, and we have to handle them differently too. Okay. Brush offs are happening right at the beginning when you're calling in and the decision maker is saying, I'm very important. I'm very interesting, right? I do not have the time nor the patience for a sales call right now. So things you might hear on a brush off sound like this. Oh, not interested. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm running to a meeting. I don't need that right now. I should be in a meeting. I'm just out of a meeting. I'm going to a meeting. I wish I were in a meeting. Okay. If they haven't heard you, they haven't talked to you, they're just trying to get off the phone. Does that make sense? Shot number 2, you see, brush offs are uninformed. They have no idea who you are or what you're selling. So because they don't have a true objection, an informed objection, we can't answer it. Okay, so this isn't good news, frankly. I want you to think of brush offs as unimportant. It doesn't mean you need to kill the lead. Okay, if you're giving a lead list and you're outbound into the lead list and the guy answers and says, I'm all set, I already have a vendor, do not kill that lead. You can try him back this afternoon. You can try him back tomorrow. Okay, if it's an A lead, we teach this in our qualification class, I want you to try back 10 times. Do not kill this lead. The key is, folks, they're not going to remember you. They're in the middle of something else. It happens to all of us. Don't take it personally and don't answer it directly. So let me just show you the difference, okay? A brush off was, I don't have time for this. An objection is, this isn't my top priority. I don't have budget. I'm under contract. You're too expensive, right? I'm not sure I see the value. Those are the objections you get later in the sales cycle, and you should overcome. An objection says, I've heard your solution and I have a question or an issue. Very different than, I can't talk to you, I'm late for a meeting, okay? And let's be honest, if somebody says that to us, I can't talk to you, I'm late for a meeting. If we address it directly, we're going to wind up saying something awful, right? Something that pisses people off. What do you mean you can't talk to me? What, aren't you interested in saving $5,000? Now you've lost them forever, all right? So let's really see what's the objection behind the brush off, okay? They're not really reasons, they're auto responses. And what they're saying to you, no matter what comes out of their mouth, they're saying, I'm busy, or I don't like sales calls, and I don't know who you are yet. They're also saying, I assume you're like the rest of the salespeople who are just going to pitch at me. And what this means, folks, is that our goal is not to overcome the brush off. Our goal here is we've got to show we're different. Our goal is to make a connection with this person. We need to break through their auto response to sales calls and get past mistrust to consideration. We need to not get lumped in with all the other sales pitchers out there. That's our goal, okay? Now, how do we do that? Well, it's kind of like buying somebody a drink at the bar, okay? We got to get them talking. We've got to get them to engage with us so we can be charming. We've got to let them get to know us a little bit. We got to get a little bit of airtime so we get a chance, okay? So how do we get people talking? How do we do that? Well, the answer is questions. Okay, maybe a few compliments if you've ever bought somebody a drink at a bar. But there's actually some brain science behind this. We use the same technique in our Swift intros. Questions, the right kind, will get them talking. The brain science is called instinctive elaboration. And it works like this. Imagine you're the pretty person at the bar. Okay, if I ask you, where are you from? Your brain just answered it, didn't it? That means it's halfway out of your mouth. If I ask you, how old are you? Again, you just thought of a number, didn't you? How much do you weigh? You thought of a number there too. See, a good question, the right kind of question, will literally hijack the brain of your listener, they're no longer focusing on the multitasking. Their brain has switched paths and it's going to find an answer now. Ooh, you just captured mind share. Again, the answer's halfway out of their mouth. This is how in a swift intro, we get to increase our talk time, 50, 100% sometimes. That's awesome, Nadine, your brain just shut down. It has to be the right kind of question. So let's dive into that. That's shot number 5. Open questions fail. Now, Nadine, let's assume that you're sort of multitasking out there, right? And I ask you, tell me about your top goals for 2024. What my brain says is, that's a lot to think about, and I'm busy right now. Go away. Okay? Open questions are fantastic at about minute 8 of a discovery call. Not here. What we want are closed questions. And they're not just closed, but specific kinds of closed questions. Rote answer, easy. Answer it with a yes, no. Okay? We got to hijack their brain by asking an easy question. It's something their brain can't even help but answer. This is how we break the ice. Now we fit it into our framework. At Factor 8, we use a framework called the CCO. Closed, closed, open. 2 rote answer questions. We're warming them up. Then we get into the open question. It looks something like this. Prospect says, I'm busy. I say, oh, is this a crazy time of year for you? Prospect says, yeah, it's just nuts. It's a huge month for us on back-to-back meetings. Oh, would you say that Q4 is typically your busiest revenue month of the year? Yeah, we do tons of our business in December. It's really just crazy right now. I come back in. Is it a short sales cycle for you, or do you have to work months and months on each deal? Okay. So I'm warming them up, right? Oh no, I'd say our sales cycle is probably 2 or 3 months long. Boom, I hit them with another one. Keep them talking about this. Getting it? The worst thing in the world you could do next is, I'm going to wait for this. Who wants to guess? Chat it in for me. I do a closed, I do a closed, I do an open. What's the worst thing I could do next? Anyone going to guess it? I know we're not a very chatty group today. I'm gonna pause. Oh, Jelly and Consuelo, thank you. Exactly. The worst thing you can do next is pitch. Exactly right. We want to keep them opening up. So let's look at it from their point of view. Our goal is to avoid them getting defensive. Okay. And if you go right in with a pitch, or why don't you have time for me? You've lost. We also want to avoid them thinking too hard. You can't go right in with what, the magic wand question or the what keeps you up at night kind of line of questioning. Little baby questions that get harder and harder and start to steer them towards this topic of discovery, or maybe even your qualification and what you need to learn, right? At Factor 8, we qualify our customers on number of reps. So if I were doing this and talking on this last example, I might go to, wow, so how big's your team this year? Okay. Oh, I've got 3 AEs. I need to talk to them about the sales bar. I have 30 AEs. I need to talk to them about Factor 8 solutions. Okay. So try to weave these questions. And so you're learning what you need to, but it's conversation. You're not keeping them thinking too hard. You're not going straight to a pitch. Okay. And what you're trying to go for here is, this feels different. I'm going to go back to the pretty person at the bar, right? How often is it straight to pitch when someone's hitting on that pretty person at the bar? You want to feel different. You want to feel engaging, maybe humorous, maybe funny, maybe a great conversationalist. It needs to not feel like a typical sales pitch, right? All right, so how do we do that? Well, here's what we want to focus on. Super friendly. Okay. This needs to feel like they're talking to their best friend. This needs to feel like, wow, I've known this person forever. If you go in there with your stiff, formal script, you're going to lose as well. You got to get them chatting. We've already covered no pitches. I want to tell you about the freak flag. Seth Godin's a very famous marketer, and he talks about how you find your tribe on the fringes of normal. And the best way to help somebody connect to you is to just be weird. Because you know what? If they see your weirdness, now they get you. Okay? I'm going to tell you a story about a guy. This is true. In the first 2 minutes of an outbound sales call, he would say something ridiculous, right? Here's a social norm. How are you? I'm great. How are you? You ask, you're going to get it back. He had an answer ready. Well, it's Costume Thursday, and today I decided to wear my Easter Bunny suit to the office. Well, nobody saw that coming. That's a hell of a freak flag you're going to fly right there. Okay, so and wait, what? Yep. I find that when I'm making outbound dials, I need to be in a good mood, and it gives me something fun to talk about. So I've got a fuzzy tail as we speak. And all of a sudden people are like, oh, it's a pattern interrupt. All right. They're going to remember that, dude. I'm not saying that's the right flag for you to fly, but maybe the answer is that your French bulldog is sleeping on your feet. Maybe the answer is that I've just eaten cereal with orange juice in it. That's my favorite meal. I'm ready for the day. You got to give a little, okay? You got to be different. And you're doing it over the phone, and you're doing it very quickly. It's kind of a silly overshare is what I'm suggesting. Maybe you've got some other way to do it, but I want you to fly that flag. And then I want you to be ready with your value prop and your bridge. Because here's what happens. I ask a closed, I asked a close, I ask an open, I ask an open. I'm at minute 3 in a conversation now with this person who said that they had no time. Something's going to happen next. Either, hey, listen, this has been great, but I really do have to go. At which point we bridge. Now, it's another baby skill that's really important, but that means setting up the next call. And not just I'll call you tomorrow. It's how's tomorrow at 9 is 10 better, sending an invite. Or what happens is, all right, listen, everything's good, but I got to go, right? I'm sorry, who are you with again? That comes out. Wait a minute, I'm in a sales call. Who are you? Wait, who? But the good thing is they're actually listening this time. So a lot of people lead with their value prop in the intro, right? Like, hi, this is Lauren. I'm calling with Factor 8, and we're an award-winning rep sales skills company. If you disagree with that, come take our Swift intro class, okay? But if instead your intro is focused on value, then you beat the brush off. Then when they say, who are you with again? They actually want to know. They're actually listening. That's when you hit them with your value prop. You're not overly pitchy value prop, but your value prop, right? Well, this is Lauren, and I'm calling with Factor 8, and we're best known for getting BDRs 500x results after their new hire onboarding. Boom, I go straight to another question after that. Do you have a lot of new people on your team? Keep the conversation going. Does that make sense? So you want to be ready with lots of little baby questions, your value prop, and your bridge. All right. There are 2 different ways to CCO. All right. The whole idea is to go around the wall. The key is to avoid that defensiveness at all costs. We have to keep them open, or at least neutral. And as soon as you start to slip into pitch mode, you're going to hit that wall. Okay. There are 2 paths around the brush off, the direct or the sidestep. And in the class online, we're going to teach you more about how to do both. I don't have time here. The last example I gave you was direct. Here's what the sidestep looks like. I'm very busy right now, the contact says, right? You're in Phoenix, right? Yeah, that's right. Was it really 115 there last week? Oh, yeah, it's awful. The cactus have been dying. Wow. So did Factor 8 bring you there, or was that a personal choice? It's still a CCO, has nothing to do with them saying they're busy. The last one I picked up on time, right? I'm very busy. Oh, is it a busy time of year? But this works just as well with an out of left field question. Social norms and instinctive elaboration will have them answering your question 9 out of 10 times. You got to try it. And I'm telling you, it takes some nerve, but it works. In fact, in the online class, there are 4 or 5 real sales call example recordings so you can hear it working. All right, so that leads me to my extra shot, folks. I want you to go and take this class, and I'm going to give you a discount code in a second. In the bar, in fact, I'm going to show you step-by-step directions, real examples, activities, script ideas, and coaching guides. Let me go open it up. If you go to thesalesbar.com, you're going to see this. We're going to view our programs, and you'll see you can take this one class. By the way, I mean, I think it winds up at $50. This is nothing. Or you can take a 6-pack or a 12-pack of classes. And the ones that Amy has for us, I'll show you in a second, all include beating the brush off. So as you go in, you'll see these are all 6-packs. Fill the sales pipeline, have more conversations, have better conversations. Maybe this is a time to close and it's not about brush offs for you. But if you scroll down, it'll even show you, oh, this one's better for AEs. This one's better for BDRs, right? Now, when you come in and you get your login to the sales bar, I want to show you what you're going to get. I'm in the brush offs class. Okay. This is maybe 15 minutes long. Everything we do is a learn, show, prove model, because we know that one-way videos don't work. So you'll see a video, you'll see the e-learning. I'm going to show you that in a second, but look at this. You're going to get a cheat sheet. You're going to get activities to do. Look at all these recorded calls. There's even more in the call library. Then there's submissions and feedback forms. My learning peeps will love this, guys. The e-learning is not a recorded over video. This is not your typical boring stuff. You got to interact with it, right? Somebody's saying, I don't handle this. Which one should I check? This will piss them off. I think this one would work. Let's see. That would piss me off. Okay, I'm going to go for these two. Chat it in if you think I'm wrong. We're going to submit. Nailed it. Okay, so it's teaching us what to do when we're interacting with it. Then we get into our cube hangers and our cheat sheets and our activities, and all of them also shows you what good looks like. So you can coach your own calls, you can peer coach, or team up with your manager, which is, of course, what I hope you do. All right. Let me show you these 3. Your promo code is brush off. These 3 6-packs have lots of the brush off skills in it and additional. With your promo code of 30% off, I think this takes it under $300. This is fantastic. You probably have some money left over in a travel budget or an incentive budget. Give yourself a gift of some pipeline for 2024. And I just want to prove that this will work for you. Here are 3 case studies. At Unitrends, these small skills, you guys, 20% increase in calls over 10 minutes. Wouldn't you love to actually have more sales calls where you get a chance to interact and sell? A 21% increase in conversion rate. At Lead Venture, the annual contract value doubled. This was over a period of about a quarter. And I love this one at Sage. We helped them hit a record number of meetings booked, almost 50% increase in that conversion from a connect rate to actually booked a meeting. So we're very used to getting these kinds of results. It's available to you and at a discount. Again, thesalesbar.com, and your promo code is brush off. I think Amy's got that in the chat as well. All right. Do I have any girls clubbers on here with me? Give me a hey if you're here. I want you to know Girls Club is near and dear to my heart. Girls Club is about that transition from rep to manager. So if you're in sales and you're thinking about management in the next few years, now's the time to investigate Girls Club. This is a certification program that helps people rapidly promote to high-performing sales manager. Every year, we open the cohort once. It runs from April to October, and applications are open right now. So if there's a high performer on your team, if you've recently been promoted to sales management, or you're thinking about it in the next 2 years, Now's the time for you. Go to wearegirlsclub.com/apply. This is my contact info. If you've got questions, if you've got comments, especially if you have requests, we're putting together our lineup for 2024 sales shots. Is there a skill you'd love to see? Is there a skill that you'd like to get introduced to and get a special offer on taking the class? Is there something that's really good for your team? Drop it to me in my email right there, lb@factor8.com. I'll hang here for another minute or two in case you have questions. But my last tip is, if you'd like to come back to another shot, if you don't have any budget to go get the training afterwards, at the very least, book a team meeting afterwards. If everybody watches the shot and then y'all jump into a Zoom room or a conference room together, then you can actually try it on, right? Then you can say, what would my close question be? Write your questions, do some role plays. That's going to take it one step further as well. So get the most out of it that you can. And I wish you luck. I'd love to hear your results too. lb@factor8.com. So I'm going to quit share and I'll hang out if you've got questions. Otherwise, I hope you have an amazing holiday and I'll see you back in January.